in Hertfordshire.
How can I help?
Calls are coming in thick and fast to Lambton Recovery HQ.
I've got a priority job on M25 for you.
Recovery op Mary Newham has been called out to a very special job.
We've just had a job come in to pick up a lorry. It's heading up to Tewkesbury for an unload and then on to Stratford-on-Avon for its final destination.
A 20-ton lorry has broken down after developing a fault with its gearbox. But Mary's more interested in what's inside it, and she's got a hunch it could be something very unique indeed.
A bit exciting because it says racing, so I'm thinking motorsport here, which is one of my loves, so yeah, it could be an exciting one, you never know. I think I should have been a racing driver.
The lorry was transporting a racing car when it got stuck in a local services. So with her love of motorsport, it looks like Mary's just landed a dream job. With 10 years in the recovery business, Mary's rescued over 12,500 vehicles. But this will be her first world-class racing car.
I love my motorsport, yeah. I used to do a fair bit of marshalling on the race circuit, so I think it was an extension from a love of horse racing, and you still got that adrenaline buzz, but with a bit of a petrol head attached, yeah. Gloves on. Gearbox, it's dumped all of the oil out of it, so he said there's quite a puddle of oil under it. It does still move if we needed to move it, but to be honest, we're in the services, we're not really blocking anyone here, so it's best to pick it up here.
But to move this 20-ton lorry, Mary needs some heavy-duty help in the form of her Volvo FH 8x4. This 35-foot-long Leviathan, with a maximum train weight of 100 tons, should make mincemeat out of this 20-ton load. First up, Mary extends the boom under the lorry, ready to lift it.
Yeah, it's not heavy enough, it's got a car and some tools in it.
But more intrigued by the cargo, Mary gets right to the point.
Is it an exciting racing car?
Yeah.
Is it? Is it? What is it?
Yeah, Nova T70.
A what?
Nova T70. Just come back from Spa.
Is it?
Came fourth, so that was pretty good. Not a bad weekend.
Worth hundreds of thousands of pounds, the 1969 Lola T70 racing car and its whopping V8 engine has just made it safely round the circuit at Spa in Belgium.
Well, it was a little bit cryptic as the job came down to us. I think it said something, yeah, it had a reference to racing, and I'm like, ooh. So you're then thinking, are we just talking a little banger car, or are we talking something a bit sexy here, you know? Turned out to be quite a sexy sports car, worth quite a lot of money, yeah.
Mary extends the boom and lifts it into position under the axle, so the coach stands can be put in place. Now she can navigate her way under 20 tons of metal to fix securing chains in place.
We lift it on the axle on the forks like this, so then we're just actually putting chains on to hold it down into there. Weight alone would probably do that, but you'd be foolhardy not to chain it down as well. That's the lift done now. We just need to get air into it so that the brakes come off.
The lorry's brakes are jammed firmly on, and if Mary can't release them, the world-class racing car inside is in for an extended pit stop.
With lorries, you've got a big spring in the brake chamber that holds the handbrake on, and it needs air behind it to release that spring. All lorries have got their own built-in compressors to build that air up. But obviously, you need the engine running for that to be working and producing air. So what we do, we put a line from our lorry across to this one, and then my compressor will do the work for the two, and therefore keep the spring off and keep the brakes off.
With the brakes safely off, Mary turns her attention to the gearbox, which needs to be disabled to avoid damaging it whilst the lorry is being towed.
The gearboxes have got pumps that will keep the oil turning around them and keep them lubricated while they're turning. If you don't disconnect it, the back wheels will still put a drive through the prop shaft and turn the gearbox, and it can seize it up if the oil's not turning in there. Like I say, on this one, I'm actually going to remove the prop shaft purely because we know there's no oil in the gearbox. It's dumped it all, so let's preserve what we can.
Armed with a pair of spanners, Mary has the tricky job of removing the prop shaft. But there seems to be a problem.
Trouble under here, it gets all the muck off the road, all the salt, everything. They rust and literally weld themselves on.
Time to bring out the big guns.
This one might need a bit of heat. Blowtorch.
But despite using the blowtorch, it appears that the nuts on the prop shaft have been glued into place, and they just won't budge.
It's just a nightmare. It's like super gluing them on, and it'll just fight you the whole way to the end of the thread. You know, most bolts, when you break them, once you've got the initial break, they'll wind off. This one's just fighting me the whole way, every single turn.
After 20 minutes of arm-breaking effort, Mary is forced to throw in the towel.
The other option is going to take the half shaft out.
And needs to rethink the whole job.
There's been a change of plan. We're going to go for half shaft, and I'll just check the prop shaft. You remove them, you're removing the drive between the wheels and the gearbox.
Determined not to be defeated, drill in hand, Mary sets about pulling out the half shaft. Bolts removed. It's time for some heavyweight action.
Sledgehammer, otherwise known as a persuader. You basically have to shock the half shaft out, so you bounce it out.
And this recovery pro is bang on target.
That was a good sound.
Half shaft out, Mary stores it away safely for the journey. But before she can start the tow, Mary needs to add a light board to warn other road users of her manoeuvres. But there's a bit of a hitch.
There is quite literally nothing to hang it on.
Unable to tow the vehicle legally without the board,
Even that's rounded.
Mary improvises and manages to tie it round the lorry's lights.
We get there. There's always a way round everything.
Finally, she heads for the cabin with driver Mark, ready to deliver the legendary racing car safely home.
There's a hell of a team effort, you know, into preparing a race car and getting it out. You know, they've just come back from Belgium racing. That's where they're on the way home from. To actually be part of the final bit of getting it home, yeah, it makes you a bit part of the team, really, doesn't it? Albeit a temporary introduction, but yeah, it's nice.
Arriving at their destination safely, Mary's about to finally get a glimpse of her precious cargo.
This is the drop-off for the car that's inside the lorry. So all we're doing here is we're going to drop the lorry, the front wheels down onto the ground to keep it level so they can get the race car out.
Once owned by Irish racing driver Martin Bahrain, this world-class car has some serious pedigree.
Quite exciting, isn't it? Do like my race cars. Now look at that bad boy. Wouldn't you just love to get behind the wheel of that? That'd be superb. Love to have a go in one of those. Bit of a petrol head, me. For me, where I've done my marshalling and everything, so seeing all these coming down to start lines and that when you're working on them, working on the race tracks and that, it's just so exciting.
And as this highly valuable C70 is lowered to the ground, it's time for Recovery Op Mary to say goodbye to her dream and get on with the job in hand.
That's the car offloaded now, the ramp's back up, so now just making sure that we're back to the right levels and everything to carry on the trip to the final destination.